Straight to news from the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. The valley has been rocked by 4 terror attacks in a day just ahead of the 70th Republic Day celebrations in the country. The latest terror attack took place in North Kashmir's Sopore district, where terrorists hurled a grenade at a CRPF or a Central Reserve Police Force camp. In the third grenade attack, terrorists lobbed a grenade towards the hub camp in South Kashmir's Pulwama district, which exploded outside the gate. Forces fired back at the terrorists after the attack. There has been no loss of life or injury due to the attack. The area, meanwhile, has been cordoned off. Earlier in the day, 2 grenade attacks rocked Anantnag district in South Kashmir as well. We have our correspondent Ishan Wani joining us on the phone line from Srinagar with the latest. Ishan, it's all about the timing, isn't it? India is on the eve of its 70th Republic Day, and 4 terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir, and specifically most of them from the South Kashmir, where terrorist infiltration is said to be the highest.
Well, absolutely. The police had already inputs about the possible attempts by the militant organization to carry out attacks in South Kashmir. So there was already an alert sounded across South Kashmir, and now there is one more grenade attack in North Kashmir. So this is a desperate attempt by the militants to show their presence in the Kashmir Valley ahead of the Republic Day. But security has been beefed up, and in particular in South Kashmir, where militants are high in number. So they may try to carry out these attacks on the Republic Day. That's why the forces have been told to remain alert and vigilant. There was an alert sounded, and there was an alert issued to everybody in Kashmir Valley, particularly to the security forces on the highways, that they should remain alert ahead of an input that there may be a possibility of an attack. But look, again, the grenade attacks are being carried out in the evening so that they can escape from the spot after hurling the grenades. So that is the motivation behind it. But there was some exchange of fire that took place in Tahab camp in Pulwama when forces fired towards the militants, but they escaped from the scene. So again, this is an attempt to show their presence in the valley ahead of the Republic Day functions. But all areas and all roads leading to these venues have been sealed before 2 days, so that there is no militant attack being carried out on those locations, and they remain safe.
Ishan Wani, our correspondent, joining us with the latest on a series of terror attacks in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir on the eve of India's 70th Republic Day celebrations. Meanwhile, in a major boost to India's security forces, the Baramulla district in Kashmir Valley has been declared as terrorist-free. Now, this has been achieved after 29 years of Pakistan-sponsored violence in the state. Take a look at this detailed report. The Indian government's war against terror in the state of Jammu and Kashmir is a huge success. Baramulla has become the first district to be declared terrorist-free in the state. On Wednesday, the killing of 3 surviving terrorists led to this achievement. Speaking to WION World is One, police officials have said that there are no local terrorists surviving in the district. Around 50 terrorists were neutralized in the last 2 years. Another significant aspect is that many overground workers, or OGWs, who could have become terrorists have been neutralized by detention and counseling during the same period. Experts believe that while this situation marks a major success, it could also be short-lived. The army has claimed to have eliminated 230 terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir last year, with the Kashmir Valley, where Baramulla lies, seeing the highest number of casualties. In a worrying sign, 240 terrorists are still active in the Kashmir Valley.
For the first time in 29 years, Baramulla district has become the first district which is militancy-free. This was claimed by the Jammu Kashmir police after an encounter with local 3 Lashkar militants who were killed during an operation in Binnar village of Baramulla district. Now, police says there are no more local militants who are there in the militancy ranks, and this was achieved by making sure that there are no local youth who pick up weapons, and they have thanked the local population for their relentless support in making sure that Baramulla becomes militancy-free district for the first time in the valley. With camera person Feroz Ishan Wani for WION World is One.
US President Trump, the Senate of the U.S. rejected 2 bills to end the government shutdown, leaving no end in sight to the record-breaking closure of U.S. federal agencies. This, even as multi-millionaire U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross urged the furloughed workers to just take a bank loan to end their miseries. The Republican legislation failed by 50 to 47, and the Democratic bill followed suit by 52 to 44. Both measures needed 60 votes to pass. President Trump later reported and told the media at the White House that he would only sign a bill if it included a down payment on a border barrier with Mexico.
Well, one of the ideas suggested is they open it, they pay a sort of a prorated down payment for the wall, which I think people will agree that you need. You need the wall. In fact, I see a lot of the Democrats are almost all of them are breaking, saying, look, walls are good, walls are good. Big difference from what you had 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the vote, we had the vote on our bill, which we won 50 to 47. That was our bill. But we got 1 Democrat. It was 50 to 47. And we need, as you know, we have to get 60. We don't have 60 votes, so we need Democrat support. We didn't get Democrat support other than from a actually wonderful man, as you know, Senator Manchin, and who's doing the right thing for his people. I mean, he's doing the right thing for West Virginia, frankly.
But the Democratic leader of the U.S. House of Representatives, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, said that the president's request was not reasonable.
The president has just said that if they come to a reasonable agreement, he will support it. I hope that that doesn't mean some big
well, he's now
down
saying he
payment
wants
for
a
the wall.
large down payment for the wall. Is that unacceptable?
But that is not a reasonable agreement between the senators.
Do you know what he's talking about? What size down payment he's asking
I don't
for?
know if he knows what he's talking about.
What about a 3-week prorated payment?
I don't know what that means.
Meanwhile, U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, who is a multimillionaire, has drawn criticism after he urged furloughed federal workers facing a second missed paycheck to seek loans to pay their bills. He said that it was disappointing that some federal workers affected by the government shutdown were not showing up to work. 800,000 federal workers who are struggling to cover their bills will miss another payday on Friday. At 34 days with no end in sight, this is the longest shutdown in the history of the United States of America. We have Lieutenant Stephen Rogers, advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump for President 2020, joining us live from Washington. Thank you so much for joining us here, Lieutenant Stephen Rogers. I wanted to ask you, this deadlock, there was hope, there's a glimmer of hope when these 2 bills came up for a vote, and now that hope has gone too.
Well, it is very clear that Nancy Pelosi does not want to solve this problem. Keep in mind that President Trump, the night that he made the speech to the American people to give proposals to the Democrats, even before he started, Nancy Pelosi said it was a non-starter. It's a non-starter because she doesn't want it to start. So we are in a serious deadlock where the president has made several proposals to the Democrats, and they're simply saying no. He has been consistent. He has worked very hard to make this a national security issue, which it is. She does not want to solve the problem.
Lieutenant Stephen Rogers, my question to you is this. You have a proposal from the Democrats that would provide massive relief to many thousand federal workers, and if only the government would not be adamant about a border wall with Mexico and take this up for the time being. Why the need to prolong the shutdown that's clearly hurting the American economy more than anything else?
Well, you're right, and it's the Democrats doing this. Keep in mind, the president proposed $800 million to put drug interdiction equipment at the points of entry as well as the border. He also offered over $800 million for humanitarian aid in the border. He's offered all sorts of proposals that the Democrats were looking for, and they simply said, absolutely not. They're not interested in national security.
But
they are interested in
Mr.
one thing,
Rogers,
and that's their agenda.
Lieutenant Rogers, my question to you is, what is stopping the government from arriving at a compromise if the opposition will not? Because at the end of the day, it's the responsibility of the government to make sure that the people of the country are not affected by any kind of political ramblings.
You're absolutely right. That's why the president is preparing, according to reports, to declare a national emergency. Once he does that, this crisis ends. He said he does not want to do that. You're absolutely right. It's the responsibility of the government, which is the Congress, and they are doing what they do best, nothing. They argue, they complain, they have committee hearings. They simply don't like this president, and as a result, they're hindering his ability to get this job done.
Right. One last question, Lieutenant Stephen Rogers, before we let go of you. What happens now? What is the chance that we find an end to this U.S. government shutdown sooner than later?
Well, the president stated the other night it will end, and it will end one way or another. He will, if he has to declare a national emergency, that will end this crisis. He does not want to do that. Hopefully, enough pressure from the American people will be put on Congress. They will come to their senses, and they will come to the negotiating table. But one way or another, it will end sooner rather than later.
Lieutenant Stephen Rogers, advisor to Donald Trump for President 2020, joining us live from Washington, D.C. with that perspective. Thank you so much for being with us over here on WION World is One. Shifting focus back to India. In the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces are maintaining a tight vigil to thwart any attempts of infiltration. Pakistani troops violate ceasefire to provide a safe passage to terrorists regularly. And Indian forces have to work around the clock to keep them in check. Even on Republic Day, security forces will be battling the harsh winter and patrolling the line of control. WION's Ishan Wani traveled to the line of control to get you this report. Take a look.
God! National salute!
This is the line of control between India and Pakistan. India's border security force is battling harsh winters and temperatures that have dipped to minus 20 degrees Celsius. They are guarding the nation's borders, come hail, come snow. Keeping a tight vigil in over 8 feet of snow cover, these men patrol the area day in and day out. Pakistan-backed terrorists have tried to use heavy snowfall as cover to infiltrate into Indian territory, and all such attempts have been thwarted by the Indian forces.
दिन के अंदर जो हम पेट्रोलिंग वगैरह करते हैं, रात के समय में एसीपी वगैरह रात को जगह-जगह हम लोगों ने पॉइंट बनाया हुआ है, तो उनके अंदर 6-7 आदमी हम जाकर टाइम बाय टाइम ड्यूटी करते रहते हैं ताकि दुश्मन हमारे सीमा में ना घुस सके। अगर ऐसा होता है तो हमारे को फुल ऑर्डर होता है फायर करने का, तो फायर करेंगे। अगर कोई आएगा तो क्रॉस करने के लिए तो उसको हम मारेंगे।
For these men, India's Republic Day is like any other day. Celebrations are limited, but their morale is high. On the 26th of January, Jawans of the Border Security Force will hoist the tricolour near the line of control and remember those who have fallen in the line of duty.
Rashtriya salute! Salamat! Sat!
जैसे नेशनल फेस्टिवल आते हैं, हम ऐसे ऐसे और बॉर्डर की सिक्योरिटी बढ़ जाती है, जिस पर हम लोग एक्स्ट्रा ड्यूटी करते हैं और ज़्यादा हम चौकन्ना रहते हैं। उसके लिए हमको ड्यूटी के लिए पेट्रोलिंग नाका करना पड़ता है। देश खुश रहें और खूब धूमधाम से गणतंत्र दिवस मनाएं और अपने आपस में मिठाइयाँ वगैरह बांटें। बच्चे सब मिलजुल के, बड़े बूढ़े जितने भी हैं जो जहाँ पर हैं, बड़ी धूमधाम से गणतंत्र दिवस मनाएं। और यहाँ पर सीमा पर हम लोग बॉर्डर की सुरक्षा करने के लिए, घुसपैठियों को रोकने के लिए यहाँ पर खड़े हैं। आप निश्चिंत होके गणतंत्र दिवस मनाइए।
Their vigil needs to be especially high on days like the Republic Day, and these soldiers will take no chances when it comes to guarding the nation's borders.
Bharat Mata Ki Jai! Bharat Mata Ki Jai! Bharat Mata Ki Jai!
We are at the line of control. This is the eve of Republic Day, and the Jawans are usually on their patrol. They don't get time to celebrate the Republic Day when the entire nation is gripped in celebrations, but they are on their regular patrol wearing these special white jackets which help them keep the warm temperature inside. Almost their barracks have been covered by a blanket of snow. They are on their regular patrols on the fences because this is the time when the infiltration takes place on the line of control. But their will and the determination to serve the nation has kept them going on the line of control. Many of them say that their celebration and their happiness is with the nation celebrating the Republic Day. From line of control with cameraperson Ferozi Shanwani for WION World is One.
Straight to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, where different organizations adopt new ways to attract investors. For Indian states that are striving to attract investments, food is helping in a unique way. WION Sumit Chaturvedi went to one such pavilion that's been put up by the state of Andhra Pradesh at the World Economic Forum Summit in Davos this year. Take a look at this.
We are in Davos, Switzerland, and many Indian states are here to attract investments. What better way than Indian food? So let's ask Mr. Krishna Kishore. He is CEO, Andhra Pradesh Development Board. Sir, first of all, I would like to ask you, how does food help you attract investment and investors here?
Indian food is one of the best cuisines in the world. Everyone in the world loves Indian food. And among India, Andhra food is one of the very best foods you find. And in Davos, we have people across the country, across the world coming here. Some of the topmost CEOs from different parts of the world, intellectuals, tech pioneers, and all top individuals across the world. And many of them are attracted to Andhra Pradesh launch. In fact, we are just beginning in the morning. As you see the day progresses, you will find hundreds of people here coming, having food here. In fact, we had people like Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, we had ministers from various countries, we had Nobel laureates, we had top-notch CEOs of Fortune 500 companies coming here and savoring the Andhra food. In fact, this is a major attraction in Davos. Everyone would love to, whether they're Indians or non-Indians, it doesn't matter, they would love to come and have food here.